change every night, and I find it deplorable. I think it's one of the worst concepts that they come up with in pro sports.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ray, we'll end it on that note. We have a lot of other things we want to ask you, but that's definitely an important question that a lot of people should address nowadays. So, meanwhile, thanks for coming on the program tonight. Don't worry, we'll get it all in the next time. And just so you know, Ray Scott will be our new NBA analyst here on the Sports Exchange. So, Ray, thank you very much for being on the program, and look forward to hearing more of you. Okay, partner?
Scott, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to our next time together.
You bet, Ray. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, Ray. God bless, and I hope you feel better. I'll give you a call hopefully sometime real soon, and we can schedule another time because we have a lot of other good, pertinent NBA things we want to address, okay?
I look forward to it.
Me too, Ray. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Be good, Ray. Have a good night.
Thanks, Louis. Good night.
Well, let's not kid ourselves, okay? Load management is definitely something that you can talk about all day long, and I can tell you right now that when I talked to Stu Lance out in L.A. for the Southern California Sports Broadcasters, okay, Stu said the exact same thing. This should be injury management, not load management.
Yeah.
And Ray's an old school guy, and let's not kid ourselves. The Pistons were involved in 1974 in one of the best 7-game series you'll ever have. Now, to show you how young you are and how young I was, okay, this series, okay, was on CBS, and the announcers for that game were Pat Summerall and Hot Rod Hundley, who went on to be a announcer for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, and of course, Pat Summerall from doing football with John Madden for a
while.
Well,
right, but now I'm talking about Pat Summerall on the hard court, not the football. So I'm with you. It's a different animal altogether. That when you talk about how far we go back, that's when NBA. I can go back all day long and tell you right now that, in my opinion, the NBA was fun back in the 70s, the 80s, and into the 90s. What it's done in 2000, sorry, LeBron James, a great player. He could probably play in any era. The drama we can do without.
Absolutely, and you can make a case he may go down as the greatest player of all time. Obviously, there's someone else who wore 23 that may have something to say about that. But yeah, LeBron could have played in any era. I saw a report come out the other day when we were prepping for our show on Tuesday where Kawhi was voicing his frustration with the Clippers management. You guys are 30-13 right now. You're getting $30+ million a season to really play 65 games a year. I like Kawhi Leonard. I just don't understand where those comments come from. But again, yeah, I agree with, because as a hardworking American, obviously we're not making the money that these guys are making. And yes, we may supply them the capital that they have to make their money and live the lifestyle that they live. But if I'm going to a Heat game, I want to see Jimmy Butler playing. I don't know. The Heat don't necessarily employ load management that often.
Why do you think, though, the NBA has gone down in ratings? Think about this for a second, what you're saying. The NBA has gone down for ratings because, number one, everybody's sick and tired of what these guys have to say off the court. And two, what about all these guys that are taking untimely days? Michael Jordan said it, okay? He said, you guys are paid to play 82.
Absolutely.
And that's all.
What they should
called
do.
Blue collar, okay? I may be wearing a green shirt, but it's a blue collar situation. You play 82 unless you can't. Back in the day, when I was growing up, okay, and I was working in a restaurant, I never liked to take days off. When I was at the Highland, I was making salads in Highland, Michigan. You know what happened? The only sick day I ever took was when I blacked out in my dad's bathroom, and my dad said, guess what? You're staying home. They got a problem? Deal with it. And let me tell you, when I couldn't make it because I passed. I wasn't feeling very good, and I passed out in his bathroom. So what do you think ends up happening? You know what?
Yeah, because
my dad. Hold on, okay. My dad said, "You're staying home." There was never an issue. I don't like taking days off.
Neither do I. I don't ever call out where I work, but again, I'm not playing for the Clippers. And it's annoying though, and you'd think some NBA fans just don't even know. Although with social media, you should be able to know the starting five for your team every night prior to the game. You're not going to have as many people watching games because it's like with load management, you don't know if you're the best players you're playing or not. You don't even know if it's worth to watch on TV,
right?
And that's going to hurt teams a lot. You may even see contracts go down. I saw Damian Lillard for the Trailblazers making $49 million a season. I don't know. I mean, they're not a great team out there. You got him and Melo, really, and Whiteside. But again, nobody's gonna watch that team if you're gonna sit a guy making nearly $50 million a season. It's gonna be hard to have any turnout to those games.
Right.
And it hurts the NBA in a sense. Popovich did it in a way that he felt worked, and it did. They won championships with it. But again, he did it with a different initiative.
Yeah, I can tolerate what Popovich did, okay, understanding that, okay, compared to what everybody's doing it now, I can understand Greg more so than anything. Because, yes, as Ray alluded to, you're dealing with an older roster. You're trying to make sure these guys can make it, and he's a championship caliber coach. But don't tell me that every stupid coach out there is going to say that we need to do load management. And I don't care if a guy takes a day off, if they're that worried about it. But the reality of the situation is you don't go ahead and do it that way. Meanwhile, our next guest is South Florida Tribune columnist Damon Knight. And Damon, thank you for being on the program. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Scoop. Thank you, Lewis. How you guys doing?
All right. Just got a few minutes with you, so we'll make them count. All right, Damon? Okay?
Yes.
So let's talk about the Hall of Fame. It's very pertinent to what we're talking about. You've got Larry Walker, Derek Jeter getting in. What are your thoughts?
They're great. You know, you look at Jeter's numbers, 14-time All-Star, 5 Glove Gold winner, 5-time World Series champion. Then you got the MVP in 2000, and then the AL Rookie of the Year in 1996. He got 99.7% of the votes. That's 396 out of 397 writers. He was one short of unanimous, but he's well-deserving. And then you look at Larry Walker. You know, he wasn't really highly regarded or just overlooked, in my opinion. You know, he was a 5-time All-Star, NL MVP in 1997, 7-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time Silver Slugger, 3-time MLB batting champion, and the NL home run leader in 1997. He had 76.6% of the vote. So I'm very happy for him. You know, that he didn't get overlooked, and it's well-deserving based on what I've heard about the guy. He's the second Canadian-born player to ever be voted into the Hall of Fame besides Ferguson. Yes. Ferguson Jenkins. And so, you know, it's awesome.
Talk about Derek Jeter. Did it bother you at all that he didn't get 100% of the vote instead of 99.7 with the one idiot out there that didn't bother to go ahead and put him in?
No, it wouldn't. It would bother me more if he didn't get in. You know, because this guy's a superstar. You know, he's a legend. Everybody knows who he is.
Right.
You know, that would bother me if he didn't get in. But you know, I don't think one vote's going to change my opinion about him as a person or as a player. So, you know, it was probably a Boston Red Sox fan that did it. You know, probably. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, don't kid. It probably was a Boston Red Sox writer. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just curious.
Great player, you know, whatever. He doesn't even care. I've heard him saying basically he doesn't care. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, Damon, I'll come out and say that Larry Walker, in my opinion, was a far better player than Derek Jeter. He was just hampered by two things. One, he didn't play in a market like New York, which kind of hurt him.
Yes.
If me and Scott were saying before the show, if Larry Walker played for the Yankees, he would have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. But, I mean, you know, analytics say Larry Walker was a better player, the better defender, too. A lot of defender metrics on Derek Jeter pinpoint to those Gold Gloves being falsely attributed to him. But, yeah, Walker, again, was just overlooked. We have to remember that when he went to the Colorado Rockies during the 1995 season, they were only in their third season of existence.
Right.
Derek Jeter came over to a Yankees team that at the time hadn't won a World Series since the days of Bob Lemon in 1978. So it had been a while since they had been to the big dance, 1981 being the last time. But Jeter kind of helped with that core of Rivera, Posada, and Andy Pettitte. He helped bring them back to relevance, Bernie Williams as well, from leaving someone out.
All right, but I'm going to call you out on this. Yeah. Okay, Larry Walker was not a far better player than Jeter. You are delusional to think he's far better. No way. I don't want to hear about all your 9 million stupid stats, and many of them aren't stupid, okay? But far better? No way. Okay, listen. Larry Walker is a guy who, in my opinion, is long overdue getting in the Hall of Fame. And you know what? He did a lot with nothing, that's for sure, but far better. I don't know, Lewis. You're losing. Don't give me that. Well, let me backtrack here because the old teacher is schooling the pupil and spanking him with the words far better. Okay, don't even go there. But they're both Hall of Fame players. They're both going in the same year, and nobody could get it wrong full well that these two guys are going in together, but took far different routes to go there. Yeah, a kid from Kalamazoo and a kid from Canada. If that isn't an oddball, then tell me what Jack Klugman and Tony Randall is.
No, I know. It's just when you look at Jeter's average season in the context of Walker's, Walker did a lot more. Obviously, the defensive. Damon, I'm not too sure you're familiar with the statistic wins above replacement. I think Scott's going to declare a declaration of war on me if I keep using the stat.
I probably will.
But Larry Walker had a higher WAR than Derek Jeter. And WAR, what it is, Damon, is an assessment of total player output and contributions in the context of the rest of the league.
Yeah.
He had a higher WAR than Derek Jeter in nearly 800 less games. I mean, it's slightly above, but that still speaks to the credit. Walker would have accumulated a lot more value. The low hit total is something that kept him out for a while. But when you factor in the combination of speed, power, defense, and plate discipline, he retired with a career on base percentage of 400. I mean, he was an all-around more complete player than Derek Jeter. Again, his case would have been strengthened had he played in a major market, but you can't choose where you play. So, I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
That should have never been used to him.
Well, he played in Montreal.
Exactly. He was signed by them, but you can't make that decision yourself. And that's
you think.
And that's the thing, though. Yeah, well, he was the right fielder before Guerrero because Guerrero came up during the 96 season. But, yeah, no, good point. Again, you know, Walker just had a skill set that was more favorable to people than Jeter. But the one thing I give Derek Jeter the credit for more than maybe any other player who's ever played, New York is a tough media market. You said it first, Scott. Oh, yeah. The two hardest media markets in the world, as far as baseball goes, are Los Angeles and New York City. I mean, just ask the people in Flushing. Ask Mickey Callaway out in L.A. as he drinks his own palm.
Yeah, that's true.
Wheatgrass on the golf course. But
I really feel bad for Callaway.
For Jeter to be so restrained and professional and dignified in the way that he carried himself throughout his career, you can put aside the fact that he was one of the worst defenders in baseball history at his respective position. To play in New York...
Except when it counted in the postseason, and he has a play on a highlight
reel.
Yeah, well, hold on. Yeah, you've already belabored that point of how bad he was defensively. But for all those errors that you say that he's bad, the one great play he does is on the big stage. So make sure you get all of that.
Oh, no, I know. And nobody will forever forget the ball down the right field line off with Mussina pitching. And they were showing video yesterday. Jeter tried to make a similar play 10 years later, but that is where he gets a lot of credit. His numbers as a player are enough to merit Hall of Fame induction. His offensive WAR is higher than Walker's, but you also have to take into account as a shortstop, and they're not expected to hit at the level of a right fielder. But Jeter, the fact that Jeter can maintain that sense of professionalism for that long in the market he'd play in, it's unparalleled. Most people, Babe Ruth was getting blistered in the head drinking and getting
and nobody knew a damn thing about it. And the one thing that you seem to be forgetting on this one is he played for George Steinbrenner when he was alive.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the fact that Joe Torre was the old stable maker here after he went through a few managerial gigs to get some hardware with the Yankees, that's another day for another conversation. But the reality is Derek Jeter was able to play for George Steinbrenner, was one of those few guys that didn't get traded away as a minor league and ended up winning there and winning quite a few titles. Sorry to interrupt Damon Knight's airtime here, but I think Damon's getting a kick out of me and going at Lewis. Go ahead, Damon. You got a couple more minutes.
I love it. I love the knowledge. I'm just processing it and learning at the same time, so it's great. I love it. I was going to say that, Derek Jeter, in the postseason has 200 hits, 111 runs, and 302 bases.
Right.
He leads the league. Yeah, that's